Thorfinn is a kid that witnessed the death of his father. Scared by the sight of his father impaled with fatal wounds, Thorfinn screams, pleading with the universe for some way to save his father. I too was waiting for the plot armor that would miraculously save Thor's won the duel against Askeladd, which would have given them their freedom, but Askeladd was not looking for honor, rather the money that came with Thor's head. Too young to cope and too young to understand what he was feeling, Thorfinn broke. His gut-wrenching screams of revenge make my skin crawl every time I hear them. No music, no action, just pure screaming hate. Thorfinn, at the age of 6 years old, wants nothing but to kill the people that took his father away from him. As we keep watching, Thorfinn had the chance to take his revenge, but didn't. Thorfinn glorified war and wanted to be just like his father. Not only did Thorfinn want to get revenge, but to follow in his father's footsteps. One that is powerful enough to defeat any foe, but also honorable to gain the respect of even his enemies. Instead of killing Askeladd in his sleep, he challenges him to a duel, and Askeladd accepts. Screaming, Thorfinn lunges at him, but he's far too weak to take his revenge. In looking for this honorable revenge, we see Thorfinn fall to his rage, and becomes the monster that he was trying to kill. He becomes a mindless murderer for Askeladd. So I ask, why is it we still root for Thorfinn? Why do we want him to succeed? And we celebrate his wins. In Thorfinn's quest for this delusional justice, he ends up killing hundreds of people. Brothers, husbands, fathers. Even if he never pillaged or raped these villages, he led Askeladd's Vikings to them. He was the one to poke a hole in the enemy's defenses, resulting in mass murder, stealing, and destruction. Did Thorfinn care? No, not one bit. All he cared about was his honorful revenge.
もし兵隊さんの耳にでも入ったら。ん？母ちゃん！ちょっと母ちゃん！
Injured and unconscious, Thorfinn had been taken in by a lady looking to do good in the world. Knowing that Thorfinn could be a Danish Viking, she doesn't care. She tends to Thorfinn's wounds, washed his clothes, and fed him. Thorfinn to this point hasn't been treated with compassion or care. He only knows the struggles of war. Combing the fleas out of Thorfinn's hair, a soldier arrives, and Thorfinn, knowing that he's being searched for, is ready to kill. She knows Thorfinn is just a kid and understands he isn't supposed to be in this war, so she lies, claiming Thorfinn as her child. Thorfinn's job is not done. He needs his revenge, so he warns them to run and heads for the beach. He signals to Askeladd. Setting a house on fire, he defends himself, killing 2 soldiers. Bloodied and fighting for his life, the woman that showed him kindness is frightened. Seeing her in the crowd, Thorfinn breaks. and we see the soft kid that is in him. The kid that knows what he's doing is wrong. But he is already too far to turn back. Thorfinn has become the Viking, a monstrosity killing and spreading this destruction. He has the chance to run, to find a way back to his family. But instead, he wants his justice. He wants to avenge his father's death. Watching through Vinland Saga, we unwillingly root for Thorfinn, and we want him to win. Thorfinn is this monster, and arguing that he isn't is impossible. He kills for the man that killed Thors, and we still care for him. Why is that? Why do we have sympathy for Thorfinn?
Oh, Thorfinn, ちょっくら石膏に出てくんねえかな。
ああ、なんで俺が。
I think we forget Thorfinn is just this kid. We forget to understand that he's still too young to fully cope with the situation. His father had been killed when he was 6, and Thorfinn spends 10 years of his life surrounded by Vikings, surrounded by the death and destruction of his peers. It had all been desensitized to him. Askeladd also pushed Thorfinn to be this murderer. Thorfinn was manipulated to become a tool of war. He had no control in his life. And in the beginning, if he did try to kill Askeladd for this meaningless revenge, he would have died. Askeladd would have parried the sword and without a second thought killed Thorfinn. I don't forgive Thorfinn for his war atrocities, but he's not fully at fault. He experienced this horrible reality. As traumatic as it was, he had to survive, and he had to become what he was surrounded by. We want Thorfinn to keep living. He has time to fix his ways, and to become the man that his father wanted him to be.
人間はみんな何かの奴隷だ。
At the end of the first season, Askeladd does die, but not by the hands of Thorfinn. Thorfinn doesn't get his revenge, this delusional justice. All those people he killed in all those years of being a merchant of destruction were all for nothing. Those years are now his own actions, for no purpose at all. The question at the end of it is, what now? Thorfinn has to find a way to live with the fact that he will never get the one thing that he'd always lived for. That he wasted his time meaninglessly killing and destroying other people's lives. The beauty of the first season in Vinland Saga is not only the perfectly drawn action and the carefully articulated story, but it makes you think about Thorfinn. It makes you root for this monster, this person who kills and destroys. We still want to see him be okay. From his life as a kid wanting to become a powerful warrior, just like his father, to now, rotting in his cell, contemplating what it was all for. We want Thorfinn to find a better way, not to forget the atrocities he committed and the lives he took, but to carry that with him and to be better. To become that honorable person that his father wanted him to be. Be the warrior that has no enemies.
だからな、もう復讐なんてやめろ。そんなこと、俺が喜ぶと思うのか。